Girls Trip with Laverne and Shirley. I keep saying Laverne and Shirley. I keep saying it. So I'm going to bring in Laverne. Hey Laverne, how are you?
Hi.
So
I gotta move this
you're
stuff
what?
back some so that it don't be like in my face.
You said what? I didn't hear you.
I was trying to move the laptop back so it didn't be in my face so much.
Oh, okay. Well, then your backdrop is not even. But that's fine. That's fine. You know, it's all a learning process. If you're just joining us, welcome. We're at the top of the hour, and it's 4 o'clock Central Time, and you're watching Laverne and Steffanie, our girls trip with Laverne and Steffanie. I'm Stephanie Rivers, and she
I'm
is.
Laverne.
So, how's your week going? Although it just started, are you getting ready for Thanksgiving?
Not not aggressively, just kind of like it's more mental. Like, what am I going to do? You know, I think I'm going to bake a Cornish hen. Of course, I'll be looking for the latest movies, and I will video chat with family.
So, what is to baking a Cornish hen? Isn't it like this little? You don't really have to do much.
If you have one guest, what do you do?
Oh, okay, so you're going to right. So it's that takes what all of 30 minutes?
Oh, I would say a good 45 minutes to an hour, depend on how high you bake it.
You know what? My mother and I were just talking about things that happened when I was a child, and she said one of the things that she did was she used to bake Cornish hens and then let me have one for myself. And I would say, "This is all for me." And she thought that was so funny because and I guess this is something that we can talk about until I did a few posts to let people know we're going to have a friend of mine on, and she is a business owner. But before she comes on, we're going to talk a little bit about Thanksgiving and inviting people over. And my mother, is in Tennessee, and I'm in Texas. And so I don't plan to go home for Thanksgiving. But one of the things that she mentioned to me is that how it used to be, when I remember when I was maybe even in preschool years, we lived in a 2 bedroom apartment, and my mother had like 20 people over for dinner, for holidays, and we had card tables, and we set up card tables and everything. And now she's saying, even though there might be COVID regulations in place, she's saying, she mentioned how some of our family members have huge houses and nobody bothers to invite her to dinner. And even though she's probably going to be upset if she ever sees this and sees that I said it out loud, she is like, we when we didn't have much, we had enough for everybody. We made enough for everybody. Mm-hmm. Now we've got so much and we don't even think about sharing sometimes. And it's just, I just want to put
people don't
it
even
out
know their neighbors now.
If you have family and they're in town, make it work. Do a DoorDash, do something, call them, say something. Don't let COVID be an excuse as to why you don't reach out to your family members who are right down the street from you, or your neighbor who's right next door. Make sure everybody is okay. Some people want to be alone, but some people might not want to be alone. And it's okay for you to reach out to people. So that's just something that I thought was, and then that's how she and I got on the subject of when we would go places. This was funny too. She said sometimes she would say, we're going out to eat, but we're on a budget. So don't like order a whole bunch of stuff, Steffanie, because I would be known to sit down at a restaurant and I'm 5 years old and I would ask for shrimp and potatoes and, and lobster. And she would be like, why are you asking for lobster? You're only 5 years old. But that's just something that, my taste. I love veal. I like seafood. I like certain things. And so when she talked about the Cornish hen, and I was just so impressed that I could have this whole little bird by myself and not have to share with anybody.
Well, I have always sliced mine in half. I never ate a whole Cornish hen. I can't imagine.
I know, right? I don't remember if I did or not, but I know it was mine to mess with whatever I wanted to do.
Right.
So another thing that is I've been seeing a lot about, Laverne, is that with the recount of the 2020 presidential election, some states like Georgia and Arizona having to recount their ballots because of Michigan, as a matter of fact. Not necessarily because they got it wrong to begin with, but some people in the Republican Party, namely the president, doesn't trust that they got it right. And so he has voiced his opinion, and that's his right to do that. But along the way, people are starting, the voters, the residents are starting to feel like their votes are, they're feeling disenfranchised, some of them, because people are calling into question their votes simply because of things that are not in their control.
Yes.
You've got President Trump calling election officials in Wayne County, Michigan, which is Detroit, Michigan, where it's 80% Black people, and questioning the vote because they didn't vote for him. And so these, it's just a lot of, then you got people in Georgia who are in the streets gathering, protesting. No police trying to run them off though, but they're protesting because they are questioning the vote on behalf of President Trump, saying, if he doesn't win, we're going to wreak havoc. We're going to do this, but no police with tear gas running them off the street. But when people are protesting about Black and brown people dying at the hands of police officers, unarmed Black and brown people dying at the hands of police officers, then you got police in the street tear gassing people. So it makes you question the sincerity of, and it just makes you question people's motives, and why can certain people have a rally and spit hatred and vitriol, and other people are out there on behalf of non-violent issues, and they are pushed out of the way. So essentially, we're in trying times. So we want everyone to be more peaceful, think more peaceful towards your fellow man, especially during times like this. But that's why our guest today is going to talk to us about self-defense. So what are you seeing down there in Nashville, Tennessee?
Well, it's like most of the nation, people are concerned about COVID. Yes, they're concerned about the political spectrum. It's a long array of things. However, it's just the whole gamut of everything. And I think people are discouraged, but hoping that maybe it is a change coming in January that will be for the betterment of mankind in America, because it's so divisive now. And yes, people trust issues are heightened. So I agree. There is definitely a change got to come. And yeah, we could do a show just on politics all by itself because there's so much to be said. At the same time, we need to be able to call it out Instead of all this double standard, if an individual, I don't care if it's the president to whether it's a city councilman, if they're wrong, they're wrong. If they're right, they're right. And I think not because I favor a conservative or a progressive or a Democrat or a Republican, it should not be about that. It should be about what is in the best interest of the people. What is in the best interest of our country? And now we're getting to see it play out on Main Street, how bad it has become. So I'll leave it at that.
Yes, and that's why, a lot of us didn't, a lot of, when I say us, I mean Black people, brown people, or just people who feel like the system is rigged. They don't vote, or they are withholding their vote for various reasons to show their power. But when there's always try to, because I do columns and I talk to people about different social issues. You can't just even if you didn't want to vote for the president, or you wanted to withhold your vote for president for one of those candidates, there was still state level elections going on that affect you just as much as a national presidential election. Mm-hmm. So you have to be engaged. You got to ask questions. Because your tax dollars are going to support issues. And if you don't engage and vote one way or another, that's just like throwing money away. You have to be engaged and ask questions and know how people plan to spend your money. And so, as a matter of fact, November 3rd was the election, but we had a runoff starting today in Texas. If you are in Texas in the Dallas County, the DISD school district, there's a runoff between two candidates in one seat. So be sure to look into that, because apparently they tied or didn't get the majority vote. So the top two vote earners have a runoff. So I ran up there and got my vote in for school district, even though I don't have children, but I volunteer at the schools sometimes, and my tax dollars go to support the schools. So I want to know, who are these people on the public school board, and how do they plan to use my tax dollars, even though I don't have children? So that's why I think it's important for all of us to weigh whether or not we should or shouldn't do something. Don't just listen to somebody tell you don't vote, or you're stupid if you vote, or this is who you should vote for. Make that decision based on your own research.
Yes, I agree.
So anytime now, we're going to have, her name is Michelle Nickelberry Drew. She is the owner of E3 Defense. That is a company where she teaches weapons defense classes. And as a matter of fact, Laverne, I know you're in like you're not in the heart of Nashville, but you're in a suburb of Nashville. So is that a concern for you, defense or self-defense and being safe in your neighborhood or when you go out and about?
I don't have any concerns where I live at, but I would say it is good to know some basic kick and blocking. I had 6 weeks of MoodyCon, although when I tested for my first belt and I got flipped, I quit. But nevertheless, let me say this. The little thing, it's a little device that you can put on, whether you're using pepper spray or a strike tool that you can put on your key ring. I think women ought to have something that they can grab if they're at a store, or if they're in the community, or even if they're in their yard and somebody try to attack them. They should be prepared, So I'm all for it.
Yeah, you should be prepared. And one of the common things is, and I don't have my keys with me, but when you're walking, or most of us have our purse with us, or just put, even if it's an ink pen, just have some gougy type things on you. So if somebody is that close to you that you don't want them to be, you can just scratch or do something
Absolutely.
to let them know, you're not to be played with, because so many people out here are they're just doing questionable things, whereas you really didn't have to worry about that before. As a matter of fact, a couple of days ago, I had left the gym. I was sitting in my car, just trying to decide what my next move was going to be. You know how you sit in your car, you look at your phone a little bit, and somebody, a guy, he walked up to the car and he said something. So before I addressed him, I looked at him and I looked at his hands and I looked to make sure he didn't have a weapon or anything. And then I said, "I'm sorry, what'd you say?" And he said, "Oh, I was just trying to see if you were the uh, Uber Eats person, because I'm looking for that person to deliver my food." And I said, "Oh, no, I'm not." And he was like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scare you or anything." And it's not that he scared me, but you just never know what people's motives are these days. You got to be on point. And that says to me that, Steffanie, quit sitting in your car being vulnerable,
Hmm.
because and it's sad that you have to now consider some things as a negative. But who's to say whether somebody could have just been walking around? Because I don't know if you heard, it was happened a couple of days ago. Two things happened. There was a guy, Mo 3E, a rapper in Dallas. Girl was driving down the street on 35, and another car tried to run him off the road. He got out of the car and started running. Do you know they shot him and killed him on the highway? That was one thing.
Yeah, I'm
Number
very familiar
two,
with that one. I'll tell you about it another time.
okay, and I think you did tell me about it. And then another thing was, there was an instance where over Halloween, somebody killed maybe 3 or 4 people just randomly. They were waiting on an Uber. They were stopped at a stoplight. They were doing all these general things that people do, and without paying attention to what's going on,
Hmm.
and they were shot, and I think all of them were killed, unfortunately. And that, I think they ended up catching the person, and they still have no motive as to why this person would randomly shoot and kill people. But you just cannot do so. Now I'm even, when I see there's a red light, I give enough space between me and the car in front of me, so in case I have to move or drive off, or have space to duck a bullet, dodge a bullet, I might be able to do that.
Isn't that
um
sad? I remember back in the day, we used to pick up people walking,
yes.
hitchhiking. Now you can't do
And,
that.
and you know what? I've done that too. In fact, it was a woman and her child, and it was so hot outside. It was like 95, 100 degrees. She was walking, and I'm like, "Where are you going?" She was like, "I'm just going up the street or something." I was like, "Get on in the car." Had it not been for the baby, I would let her walk. But I was like, "She got a baby. Let me pick her up and take her somewhere." So I took her, and then maybe like a year or two later, I saw her in another event, but I didn't recognize her. And she said, "You don't know me, you don't recognize me, but you picked me up on the street that day and kept me from walking in 100-degree weather." And
Wow.
we hugged. This was maybe like a couple of years ago. And it's just like, now, would I pick somebody up? You just have to be in the moment, I think, sometimes. And
Right.
hopefully your humanity will take over. But sometimes, based on what you have at stake, what could happen, you have to
Right.
think about that. Because a friend of mine, EJ Sorrell Yarbrough, he went to a neighboring high school where we were in high school at the same time. He now lives in Dallas. he has been confirmed to have coronavirus,
Wow.
and he doesn't really know where he got it from. He suspects at work, and his daughter has it
Mhm.
too. We don't know if she got it from him or if she got it from somebody at her place of work,
Uh-huh.
because you just never. So now, before you pick people up, you want to, do they have COVID? Do they have a knife? What is their motive? And I'm an Uber driver, and I really don't even think about it, but that could be considered as dangerous. But I'm like,
It is. It ain't
they
like
don't
it
know
used
what
to
I
be.
got. They better be looking out for me. You know what I'm saying? Because you
Yeah.
don't know what I got.
Yes.
So I am going to let me text Michelle and see. She said, okay. Okay, trying to get in, mobile device not showing me.
You know how this technology is.
Not mobile device not allowing her. Yeah, let me see. She's saying she can't get in on her mobile device. Uh,
Could you send a link through an email and she go through her email to click the link and see if it will connect that way?
well, I think that's what she's trying to do, because I sent her an email. Okay, let me ask her. Um,
I don't understand the last time we did this, you were side by side of the screen. That way I could look at you while you're talking. And this particular format, you at the lower left, that's why I keep looking down, because I can't see you.
okay.
It's like before it was screen by screen. Okay. This time it's like you are here, you got your main, and then here, I can't see you.
Okay, so she's saying, I'm listening to you and I'm gonna try to fix it. She's saying it says mobile not supported. So she can't get on her mobile. So I'm gonna tell her. Okay, so I told her we'll try. Okay, so now I'm gonna try to see. Let's see what it's saying. Chat ready to display. I'm gonna. Okay, I see Michelle. I see some. Hey, yes, I can hear you. Is that you, Michelle?
It is, but for some reason I don't have video, but I can hear you guys.
Okay, well, great. So we are gonna. So are you good to talk while you're
Yes,
driving?
yeah. I'm not driving. I'm good. Go ahead.
Okay, well, essentially, this is our guest. This is Michelle Nickelberry Drew, and she is the owner of E3 on Defense. And we want to thank you for trying to get on. We know with technical difficulty, you never can tell what's going to happen. But Michelle, my partner, is on. I don't know if you've met. Laverne. But the name of our show is Girls Trip, a mental trip with Laverne and Steffanie. So we're just talking about today. We wanted to focus on the need for women to have to be prepared to defend themselves. And so I know that you own your company. So talk to us a little bit about what you do. What are your services with E3 Defense?
So what I do is the E3 stands for educate, encourage, and empower. And so I really believe that, so to speak, there's that inner strength within all of us. And so we have the opportunity to dig deep, whether and protect ourselves, because a lot of times you'll hear women say, you know, oh well, my husband or my boyfriend will help me. Well, you have it within yourself, because what happens if you aren't there? So we teach women how to defend themselves, whether it's hand to hand, whether it's how to use a knife, whether it's how to use a stun gun. And then I teach firearm instruction and license to carry classes.
So do you just teach those classes in the Texas area, or do you travel if somebody wanted to hire you?
I do travel. I can only teach license to carry in the state of Texas. I'm in the process of getting my license in a few other states to teach that class as well in other states, but I can teach firearm instruction anywhere in the United States.
All right. And as a matter of fact, I met Michelle when we both worked at Southwest together. You're still a flight attendant? Yes.
I am. I am. I'm still there 25 years later.
And so it's so that's how we met, and we've kept in touch over the years. And I took my license to carry test certification test through Michelle and her company. And so I've been licensed for a year and a half now. So I was talking to Laverne about it as well, and so although she has taken some self-defense classes, what kind of reservations, what kind of hesitation do you get from women, Michelle, when you talk to them about, or when they ask you about why they need to be licensed to carry?
Probably some of the reservation is that a lot of women are afraid of firearms, you know, and it's always, and there's probably just as many men that are afraid as well. It's just that as women, we voice things more, right? Um, but there's a lot of fear, and this is what I tell women is it's okay to be fearful. If you want to face that fear, we will do that. And I can tell you, um, one of the things that I do is we literally sit at the kitchen table and we take the gun apart, we put it back together, we look at different bullets, we look at different videos. We do all those things where you're not having to smell the smells that are at the pistol range, or hear the gunfire at the pistol range, because in an environment at the kitchen table, there's no fear. I'm just at the kitchen table. And so one of the biggest reservation is the fear.
And you know what? That is one of the things, although, I with me, I think with me growing up as an only child, with me pretty much living, not having a man consistently around, I'm more willing to try different things. But one of the things that I had a problem with my weapon was cleaning it. And so I watched a YouTube video to kind of get me the visual on what to do to clean my gun, and I did it. And so, yeah, just having someone there with you, or if you don't have anyone specifically, that's why YouTube exists. There's tons of stuff on there. But so, in addition to weapons training, you said you teach self-defense classes.
So what I do teach self-defense classes. I go around and I travel and I speak a lot on security and self-defense. We do home evaluations and that kind of thing. But with the hand-to-hand, what I normally will do with hand-to-hand is I have another young lady that I refer women to, and she is a Krav Maga instructor. And Krav Maga is an Israeli fighting style. And so it's an awesome, amazing way to protect yourself, because The young lady that's an instructor is probably 5 feet, maybe 110 pounds. Um, and she can take down any man just with the skills from Krav Maga.
Wow, and yeah, a lot of people think if you're a smaller, whether it's a perpetrator who's looking for a victim, or somebody who you might see that small, you think, okay, he or she is going to be a likely victim because they're small, but you never know the skills that they have been taught.
That's
Um,
right.
so that's why, we all need to be prepared. Now, before we go on, we want you to, if you're listening or you have comments, we are TriCasting on YouTube and LinkedIn and uh, uh, Facebook Live. And so if you have a comment, we might not see it because we are TriCasting, but go ahead and comment and we'll go back and look at the comments and contact you. So be sure to like and share and subscribe. But Michelle, if someone wants to contact you, what is your website name? Is it e3defense.com?
Right now, it is that is, and you can still contact me through Michelle at e3defense.com. But my website is going through a complete overhaul, so I'll have a new address, web address, and everything come probably December 15th.
Okay, so I just put in Michelle at e3defense.com.
Correct.
All right, now, so I was going to ask, Laverne, do you have any questions?
No, not right now.
She said no.
Well, let me say this. I think you answered, because my question really was the location, but you said Texas. So I kind of was wondering, because I thought of some people to refer to.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
because
Go ahead.
no. I was going to say Laverne has relatives in this area, and so she could refer them. And you also not just do one-on-one training, Michelle, but you also work with churches, like you said, and homeowners or business owners, so that they can try to, what is that term where you try to go through and do a diagnostic? It's kind of like taking your car to the mechanic to see what the deficiencies are in your car. So with you and your company, you might go to a church and say, this is how you can do an upgrade to your security or your business. Is that how it works?
Exactly. So we would go, and let's say if you are at home and you want to know how to keep your home safe. So we would come, we would look at your home, we would look at whether or not you want to put cameras in, what are the best locations to put those cameras in. And then we just look at the safety and security of your home. Are there windows that are blocked? And it's not just even for someone keeping someone out of your house or keeping you safe in your house, but even we consider fires, we consider all kinds of things. Do you have a safe room in your house? What is in your safe room? With us, I have 12-year-old twins at home. They have a safe room. We have a plan. We know if something happens, my children know this is where I go, this is what I do, this is how I respond. Because in the middle of someone attacking your home is not the time to go, oh my goodness, I wish I'd have thought of a plan.
Right, especially if you have children, and just with anybody, you want to have a plan and practice it. It's like in school when we used to do the fire drills, and everybody would go out in the hall and put your head down and do certain things. Or these days they probably do a shooter drill, and you go and do certain things. You lock the door, you do this, so you don't have to, like you said, think on the run. It's kind of like it's something that you've practiced so much, you just kind of jump into it. So
Exactly.
what is that? So you think every home, every family should have some type of a plan for an emergency, an unexpected emergency?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because here's the thing, and especially the state of our world right now, right? We don't know from one day to the next. And this is what I was telling some people yesterday. We've been, so to speak, kind of locked up in the house since March, right? People have lost jobs. People are going to food banks who've never been to food banks. We have a political climate right now that is very contentious. We have a racial climate right now that's very contentious. We have a lot of things going on. So even at home or even out and about, and it sounds scary, especially to maybe parents, to sit down and talk to your children about, hey, if we are out and you hear something that sounds like gunshots, or if mommy or daddy tells you get down, this is not the time that I need you to ask me why. Ask me why after the situation is over, because if something is happening, you need to be able to focus your attention on that situation so that everyone can survive, as opposed to, children always ask, but why, but why. Okay, but why is not the time to ask me. So you need
Right.
a plan at home, and you need a plan away from home. You need a plan. My kids know when we are out and about, especially if it's dark, when it's time for us to get in the car, we don't chit chat and talk and all that kind of stuff. We walk, we get in the car, we lock the doors, then we can chit chat and talk.
Yeah, exactly. I was just saying that there was an instance where it was in the middle of the day, but I had walked to my car and sat in it and started playing, not necessarily playing on my phone, but trying to determine what my next move was going to be. And somebody walked up looking for um, Uber Eats. He was looking for
Mm-hmm.
his delivery, and he might have had his hands in his pockets, and I might not have really understood what he was saying. And so before I even engaged him, I had to look at him and see, is this guy a threat to me?
Mm-hmm.
Or should I? Because these days you just never know. You want to trust people. You want to believe everybody is genuinely doing whatever it is, sincere about it, but you just never know. So I now have to remember, don't just get in your car and sit there, Steffanie, or when you pull up at home, don't just sit in the car. Be on the move. Because if you're going to be
Mm-hmm.
a target, I want to be a moving target. I ain't going to be just
Mm-hmm.
sitting there waiting to get done.
Right. Exactly.
So,
Yep.
what is it now? So let's say let's use me for example. So I've had my uh license to carry for a couple of years, and now, like you said, the climate is such that I don't just have the license to carry for home. Because in your home there's the thing called the stand your ground law, which it's either called stand your ground law or
Mm-hmm.
castle
Castle.
doctrine
Mm-hmm.
in
The
both
castle
states
doctrine.
that
Mm-hmm.
say if you are in your home and somebody tries to come in and hurt you or invade, you have a legal right to defend yourself and your family. And so now, as a license to carry also allows you to carry outside of your home. But inside of that, even if you are defending yourself and the law says you can, what are some of the issues that can come up with people who do that, who use the law in their favor to defend themselves legally? Now they find themselves being sued or
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the castle doctrine. So the state of Texas says that in your house, in your car, in your place of business or your place of employment, and I say your place of employment, that's only if your boss allows you to bring a firearm to work. But in the state of Texas, the castle doctrine says that you can carry in your car, your house, your place of business, or your place of work, because that is an extension of your castle. So when people come to the license to carry class, you're not coming so that you can carry it in your car. You're coming so that you can carry it on your person, on your body.
okay.
And then in the state of Texas, as far as stand your ground, so the stand your ground law in Texas requires three things. One is that you have a legal right to be present wherever it is that you are, that you did not provoke the incident, and that you are not in commission of any type of crime. If those three elements have been met, then you can stand your ground. And so, what I liken it to is when people say, well, what about the Florida stand your ground law? Okay. I don't know all the intricacies and ins and outs of Florida's law, but some of the incidents that have been in the news, like Trayvon Martin, like the gentleman who was shot and killed at a convenience store.
Jordan, I forgot his last name, but Jordan, right? I'm with
Okay,
you.
so in those incidents, the people who use the stand your ground law, they actually provoked the incident. And after they provoked the incident, then they were able to invoke the stand your ground law. In Texas, if you provoke it, so if I go out and I start a fight and all of a sudden now I'm losing the fight, I don't get to stand my ground because I started the fight, right? Or if I'm in the commission of committing a crime, I don't get to say, well, I'm standing my ground because now I'm in fear of my life. But I was in the middle of committing a crime at the time.
Right. So you don't get to you to now to turn around and use deadly force. And when you were either you started the fight or you broke in, now you're saying, "Oh, I'm standing my ground and using deadly force." Right.
Exactly. Exactly. And there's so many intricacies in our laws, especially in Texas. There's so many things. You know, a lot of people don't know you can use deadly force to protect your property. However, there are times that you can only use deadly force at nighttime to protect certain property. And in the state of Texas, nighttime is defined as 30 minutes after sunset and 30 minutes before, yes, 30 minutes after sunset and 30 minutes
30 minutes
before
before.
sunrise.
So
Mm-hmm.
wow, I didn't know that.
I have a
Mm-hmm.
question.
Okay.
What happened if somebody trying to break in and you are, I mean, in the daylight?
Well, now when I say your property, I don't mean your house, but let's say like your vehicle or a shed in your backyard or something like that.
Okay.
So if somebody's breaking into your vehicle in the daytime, you cannot use deadly force. If somebody is breaking into your vehicle at midnight, you can use deadly force. However, there have to be certain caveats that are met. There are certain things that go along with that law. But at any time, daytime, nighttime, does not matter. If I am in my home and somebody is breaking into my home, then you have every right to use deadly force to protect. Because really at that point, you aren't just protecting your property, you're protecting you because you're in that home.
Ooh,
Right. Okay. So let's say I get it mixed up. Now I'm in trouble with the law. What do I need to have some because I just refinanced and I specifically asked my new homeowners insurance company, was there any type of stipulation in my coverage that covered me as a homeowner with a weapon if I, shoot somebody and then they try to sue me? And although there was something in there that covers me, whatever I read, let me know, oh, you need some more. Because they said, in case of, you know how they always have this, yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
love you, but in case of this, then that. So I was like, oh no, I need something specific. So what do you suggest that, because, last thing I want to do is hurt anybody, but I'm gonna defend myself. You're in the wrong if you come through this door and I didn't invite you. So,
Mm-hmm.
but like you said, there are different stipulations. What's in place to help protect me in that situation?
So there's a company called Texas Law Shield. And actually now the name is changing over to US Law Shield. And what US Law Shield does is they cover you completely, unlimited criminal defense, unlimited civil defense. And so Any type of use of force whatsoever, doesn't matter if it's a hand, a car, a fist, a gun. If you are defending yourself with any legal weapon, and almost anything is a legal weapon, the only thing, like say a sawed-off shotgun not registered to you, that's illegal, right? But if I get into something where I have to defend myself and the only thing I have is my fist, then they cover me. If I have a firearm, then they cover me because I'm defending myself or defending the life of someone else. And so having Texas Law Shield is amazing, amazing, amazing. And one of the things about it, and I tell everybody this because I'm a former police officer. As a police officer, if I ever got involved in anything, I had the right to speak to an attorney before I give a statement. You have that same right. But the problem is most people don't have an attorney on retainer waiting just in case something happens, right? This is like having Texas Law Shield is just like having your own personal attorney on retainer, because at 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, whatever time it is that something might happen, when you call them, an attorney answers the phone. And the reason that's important is because you have attorney-client privilege as soon as that phone is answered. So at that moment, you can let the police know, I am going to cooperate with you completely. I'm simply waiting on my attorney to arrive. And then an attorney will arrive at the scene within about 2 hours. And that's huge. It's huge. And Steffanie and Laverne, the other thing is, when people think about being covered with an attorney, they don't think about stuff that's as simple as, we have incidents where people are driving down the street and they get into maybe some road rage. They tick off somebody goes and calls the police and lies on them, right? And says, oh, Michelle pointed a gun at me. Well, Michelle didn't point a gun at you, but Michelle happens to be an LTC holder. So when the police come and they talk to me, because you've given them my license plate number, right? So when the police come and talk to me, it's my word against yours. And the fact that I'm an LTC holder, which means a license to carry holder, then wouldn't it be feasible that I probably do have a firearm? Even
That's
though I
true.
didn't draw my firearm, I didn't point it at anybody, I didn't do anything. I got involved in a road rage incident and you went and lied on me. And now I need an attorney because I'm on the way to jail because you lied.
Right.
Wow. You need to put that link on, Steffanie.
Oh,
So
so I put in check out Texas Law Shield. Is there a way for them to contact you, Michelle,
yeah,
about Texas Law Shield?
yeah, if you want to go ahead and have them send me an email to Michelle at e3defense.com, Michelle at e3defense.com, and I will send them the link where they can sign up. And the other thing that's really cool about Texas Law Shield, it's $10.95 a month. I tell people that's the cost of a small pizza, or if you want to pay annually, you can pay annually up front. It's $131, and any attorney is going to be $300 an hour. That's less than half of 1 hour for an attorney, and you're covered civilly and criminally. And y'all, one of the things that I tell people, the gentleman who stopped the shooter at the active shooting in White Settlement at the church out. Laverne, are you here in Texas?
No, Tennessee.
Okay, so we had an active shooter at a church who came in. He was ready, had plenty of ammo and all that to kill several people. There was a gentleman who was part of the security team, volunteer security team. He stopped the active shooter. It took them 9 months to no bill him, meaning it took them 9 months to say that he did nothing wrong.
Oh
Can you
my
imagine?
God.
Exactly. So can you imagine his legal bills, the legal fees that he would have had he not had Texas Law Shield? And then now he's being sued civilly.
Mm.
Oh my
And
God.
He's being
he
sued civilly by who? The people, the man's family?
I don't know. There's two, from my understanding, there's two people who are trying to sue him. I don't know the specifics of it. I'm looking to try to get all of that information. But this is the other thing that people need to take into consideration. If you ever have to use deadly force, the odds are you will be sued by somebody. By somebody. So there's just so much. This is I tell people, if you are making a conscious decision to protect you and your family with a firearm or with anything, if you are making that conscious decision, then why would you not make sure that you don't have to go bankrupt, you don't have to go into your 401k or your pension or whatever it is, just so that you can get an attorney to prove that you did nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm. That's wisdom.
Okay, so I pulled it up a little. It's saying now this was on September 30th, so a good month ago is like you said, when it said a hero of church shooting cleared by Tarrant County grand jury. So girl, they took it all the way to the grand jury. The heroic actions of Jack Wilson saved an unknown number of lives during a church shooting last December, and now a grand jury has cleared him of any charges. So why would they even have to charge him to begin with? That's crazy.
Well, and that is the crazy thing, is that this shooting, I mean, it was so clearly not only self-defense, but he saved the lives of most of, if not all of those people who were in that church. Now, two people did die. The shooter stood up. He shot one of the gentlemen who was part of the security team. Then he turned and shot another gentleman. And then Jack Wilson shot him. But Jack is nothing short of a hero. He saved those people's lives.
That's
And
the
then it
truth.
took them, yes, it took them up until September to say, you know what, you did nothing wrong.
Gee,
Right. So that's an emotional roller coaster right there. Thinking you in like in the middle of the heat of the moment, you're thinking you're doing the right thing. And now you're being held liable for something. So yes, we definitely want if they're not in Texas, is there another like your company has affiliates outside of Texas where they could get that same legal shield information?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if they will email me, I will make sure that they get the link. We are in Texas. I keep saying Texas Law Shield. We're actually changing the name over now to US Law Shield. But Texas Law Shield / US Law Shield is in all states, all 50 states, and all US territories. And so no matter where you are, you can be covered with an attorney. And like I said, the attorney will come to the scene within a matter of about 2 hours.
All righty. Well, we want to thank you. So we put the information in, and I'm going to look into that myself. And because just try these things that are going on right now, you just want to be prepared as much as possible. Laverne, did you have any more questions?
that was good. I'm like, wow, I'm more informed.
And so, Michelle, if you have anybody around the country, but especially in Texas, if you have a church or a business and you want Michelle to come out and her company to do a diagnostic run on your security and give you a plan, be sure to reach out to her, Michelle at E3 Defense, and I put the link in the chat for them. So what are your Thanksgiving plans? You're going to be in the DFW area, Michelle?
I am. We are going to be at the house, just us. And we already started. We got a brisket smoking. So we having a non-traditional Thanksgiving. So we're having brisket and barbecue and, all
That sounds good.
yeah, I told my kiddos, whatever their favorite deal is, favorite food, we want to make this as much fun for them. So I'm not going to try to get them to eat stuff they don't want to eat.
Right. Well, I will be coming in from a trip, and I think I'm just gonna do lasagna, something, because I try not to overeat just because, I'm trying to.
Yeah.
You got to live beyond Thanksgiving and beyond Christmas Day, so you got to be strategic about what you do. So,
Mhm.
and Laverne, what are you guys doing?
I'm just gonna have Cornish hen.
Yum.
I don't know what the side's gonna be. I've never been like one to have what we call Southern traditional Thanksgiving meals. I was always the person that would bring the odd dish, something unique, something from another culture on purpose, because I
Nice.
love different variety of foods. So I know my main meat is Cornish hen. The rest I don't know yet.
Well, whatever we're doing, let's stay safe and be blessed. And thank you again, Michelle, for taking out the time, giving us some food for thought, taking us on
Thank
a
you, Michelle. Yeah.
mental girls trip.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. And I just appreciate what you guys are doing. And I'm excited about your show. So thank you so much.
And
Thank
we're
you.
gonna put the link in all over. So we'll send you the link so you can pass it on to your friends and your Facebook friends as well.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, ladies. We'll chat later. Have a good one.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.